Hi, I'm Judy Fishel. This video is an introduction to a series on what it means to study. I've read many books on study skills. Most are fairly helpful, but only a few explain what it really means to study. I read this one book, supposedly on study skills, that only discussed learning habits, things like going to every class, sitting up front. These are all good things to do, but it certainly isn't study. Many books focus on learning skills, things like reading, writing, and taking good notes. They may suggest a few study strategies like highlighting and underlining, but these strategies can actually make it harder to learn. What's the difference? Well, learning habits are not skills. They're just habits, like you learned as a child to say thank you or to brush your teeth. You learn new habits by making a decision. They can help you to succeed, but just going to every class certainly isn't studying. Learning skills require more than a decision. You need to learn skills like reading, writing, and math. But many students read the book and go to class, but they still fail. Study skills involve mentally processing the material that you have read or learned in lectures. They can actually change your brain. We'll discuss study skills at the end of this video. Now we're going to look at study habits. I only list 20 study habits. You could list many more. We start with healthy habits, and you should know most of these. The question is, are you doing what you know you should do? Like eating healthy food, getting plenty of fruit and vegetables, and eating protein at every meal. Drinking enough water. You want to avoid sugary drinks and too much alcohol. Our brains work better when well hydrated. Getting enough sleep is one of the biggest problems for many college students. You need 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night, and you cannot learn well when you're tired. Exercise is also important because it helps the blood move through your brain, bringing nutrients and much needed oxygen. Next, we have the 4 motivational learning habits. This includes setting goals for what you want to learn and how you plan to learn it. Learning to focus on learning. That is, you must avoid or ignore distractions. For many students, the biggest distractions are their cell phones and programs like Facebook. Time management. This involves creating a weekly time schedule and using it. I have a video of flexible time management that you might find helpful. And improving your mindset, your willpower and resilience. Students with a growth mindset are those who refuse to give up, who enjoy a good challenge, and who believe that if they work hard enough and long enough, they will succeed. You need to develop a growth mindset to be really successful in college. I've listed 12 classroom learning habits. Before you even get to class, these 4 are important. Read the assignment before you go to class. You'll understand what the professor is talking about. Learn the vocabulary. Do any homework you're supposed to do, and if you have projects, get started early. Then, once you come to class, you want to be there every class. You'd never want to miss a class. Sit in front of the class to avoid distractions. Turn off your phone while you're in class. No email, no texting, no games. And sit up straight. Act like you're interested. When you act like you're interested, sometimes you turn out to find out that it is interesting. During class, you want to stay awake and pay close attention. Take notes. In fact, you ought to learn to take good notes. If you're confused about anything, ask questions. You can ask them in class or in the professor's office. And talk to your professors. Get to know them and let them get to know you. Okay, how would you grade yourself on study habits? Will learning habits help you learn? Will reading the book help you learn? Well, the little figure here who's learning by osmosis wishes that was true, but you can only say that they will help you learn just a bit. If you really do go to every class, even if you're not paying total attention, you might soak up a little of the information. Will you learn well? Absolutely not. Learning habits are covered in this video. We've already covered those. For learning skills, there's a video on taking notes you'll want to study and another called Reading to Learn. But for study skills, there's a lot to learn, so we have 4 videos. Most students wish they had study skills but have no idea what we mean by study skills. If you know that you need better study skills, you're off to a good start. To introduce this topic, I will share 2 helpful images. You'll see input on the left side of the little face. Learning input includes things like reading, note-taking, and research. Learning output on the other side of the little face includes writing, speaking, and test skills. But one very important thing is missing. The information comes in, the information goes out, but nothing is left behind. So I call this image the empty head. You really don't want to be an empty head, do you? You don't want to graduate from college without learning anything. Now this is the second image, and I'm sure you've already noticed that there's something in the brain this time. Now information comes in, and it goes straight to the brain for mental processing. When the information goes out, there is something left in his head. I call this image the thinking head. Now, if you can't read what's inside his brain, we're going to cover it on the next page. Inside the brain, and also the 4 parts of what it means to study, are organizing information verbally, organizing information visually, using critical thinking, and using multiple pathways to memory. When you do these 4 things, you are studying, and when you study, you'll learn and remember. Finally, I'd like to share one more image of learning. You learn when you read with your brain turned on. This is like an image of a light switch. You don't want to wander around in the dark. You need your brain turned on. You learn when you listen and take notes with your brain turned on. And you learn when you study with your brain turned on. I'm sure most of us have experienced reading a chapter with our brains turned off, and we get to the end and we can't remember anything we read. Having your brain turned on means you're really thinking intensely as you do it. If you have comments or questions, please go to my website, and you can also email me at jjfishel@gmail.com.